that's done. Anyway, just doing a wee update on what's been happening. So, the first two episodes of The Haver kind of went pear-shaped a little bit due to sorry about that, something's not quite working right. Anyway, I'll keep going. So, there was quite a lot of issues to do with Smile Time, which was where we were hosting it from. Episode 1, it didn't post to Facebook the way it was supposed to. Episode 2, we had issues with one guest being on screen and the other not, and then mixing and matching. Then only one of the guests could hear and see me, and I could only see one. And bit of a clusterfuck, to be honest. So we took the show over to Google Hangouts, and the show went off without a hitch. There was maybe some drops in audio from time to time. I think that's probably to do with my Wi-Fi. So I'll be fixing that. So for The Haver will now be broadcast from here, basically, going forward. The link will appear on Facebook. You just follow the link, and that's how you'll find the show. If you missed episode 1, we had Anthony Hayes from Me, Myself, and I Radio, and Scott Doucette from Podcast Bay on the show. They're the two guys behind the Podcast Discovery Centre on Facebook, which is a group for podcasters. It was a pretty good show. Although it was a bit of a clusterfuck and we didn't have an audience, we managed to work our way through it. Last night, I was joined by CJ Ripka of Ron Real Live and Grit and Grace TV, and Cole Johnson from Cole Sports. So last night's episode was great. You can check that out. It's over on the Facebook page. It's also on this channel. You used to have to search for it. It's The Haver episode 2. It's not hard to find. There's not that many videos up at the moment. So just basically a little thing to say, we're not using Smile Time anymore for these. We're going to be using the hashtag. Basically, we're not using it. We're using YouTube instead. So this is where you can find us. Every Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, and it works out as free daytime on the Tuesday morning. We have, in other news, we have the Terra Firma podcast. Again, with there being a terror attack on the UK, I was in two minds about doing an episode this week. So, yet, which is what I'm going to leave up to you guys. So, do you think I should do a similar episode that I did 2 weeks ago where I go off topic and talk about something other than gore and that type of stuff to do with horror? Or do you think we shouldn't change the format of the show? Do you think that's letting the terrorists win in a way, if you know what I mean? So give me some feedback on that in the comments. I'm going to be booking a roundtable discussion episode coming up on it. I might decide to film it on live stream, so look out for that. I'll put up all the information days in advance or weeks in advance of that happening. So there should be that. I'm also considering using Google Hangouts to do interviews for the podcast, so I'll have both a video and an audio version. If you think that's a good idea, leave some comments. Also, let you know who you would like to see appear on the show. Rounding up some interviews in the next couple of weeks, so if there's anyone in particular you'd like me to try and reach out to, let me know. That goes for The Haver as well as the Terra Firma podcast. So if there's any horror actors you want to appear, or directors or writers or whatever you want to appear on the show, let me know. Also, you can do a massive favour to the show by tweeting out to them or sending them messages on Facebook. That always helps. If there's any other podcasters or any other people in general you want to see come on the Haver, let me know. I think we're booked up until, if I just have a wee look, I think I'm booked through to the 17th of July. The 26th of June and the 3rd of July are both going to be UK shows, so they're going to take place live at 9 p.m. on the Monday UK time, not Pacific. So I'll work out what the time difference is. I think it's about that's 6 hours of difference. So you guys will be like 3 in the afternoon, something like that. So we get that, doing that for 2 weeks. It's just I have some British people I want to talk to on the show, so it's a bit easier to talk to them on British time than on American time. So that'll be coming up. We have, who do we have next week? We have Chris Brighton and Chris Green, I believe, coming on. So that's a pretty cool episode. But yeah, check out this week's episode. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams. I'll get better at them as I go along. This is just jumping on to test out the software, test out just to make sure I have the ins and outs of it down before I start doing more episodes this way. And hopefully, knock wood, next week's episode should be relatively free of tech fuck-ups, which would be nice, because 2 weeks in a row of, smile time, shit in the bed on the programme, but annoying, especially after all the time and effort and energy I've put into putting the show together. Getting everyone in the one place at the one time and all that, it doesn't happen easy. So I want to thank my first 4 guests for bearing with me while we went through all those tech problems. As I've said before, probably make the best guess because they know what it's like when the shit hits the fan, basically. So big thank you to those guys. We got some really cool people in the weeks coming up. Other stuff to do with the channel. I'm looking to put more content up on this channel that's horror related as well. Obviously, we're doing this, so it's just basically a podcast show talking to doctors. We have the Drew Carson show coming back end of the month, start of July. So that's another kind of celebrity type version of this, but a lot more reined in. This is quite an open, anything goes. The duration of each episode's open-ended, depending on who's on and how much they have to say. Those shows will be more contained to about 40 minutes. And there'll be more. The live stream itself will be the interviews part with the 2 celebrity guests on, and then I'll also be doing intros will be recorded afterwards, and possibly skits and stuff like that will go in the show. As with this interactive, if people turn up and ask questions. So if we have certain celebrities on that you've always wanted to ask a question, and to be honest, I don't care how cheeky the question is, get asked that, just put it in the group chat bit and it'll get asked. We'll also be playing, daft games and stuff on that show, so I'm looking forward to it starting up. Hopefully all the bugs will be ironed out with those first 2 episodes of the Haver, so I'm looking forward to that. As I was saying, the podcast, I'm looking to do a lot of interviews coming up. I know I've not done as many in the last month as I had at the beginning of the show. There's been a lot more reviews and stuff like that. So there'll be more roundtable episodes, more interviews with celebrity guests and all that jazz coming up. So that's basically all I really needed to come on to talk to you about. So I'll leave it there. It's a bit loud. Leave comments if you want. Tell me I'm an arsehole, whatever you want. Just any interaction with the show is great. If you like the channel, it would be a great help if you'd subscribe. Just helps us be seen easier on YouTube. As I said, more interactive stuff coming. I'm looking at slash cams, which I was doing at the beginning. I haven't been doing in a long time, so there'll be more slash cam episodes probably coming up in August. And as I said, probably going to be doing interviews this way for the podcast. So you might be seeing the likes of, I don't know, Tony Todd or Robert Englund getting interviewed. So that's something to look forward to. If, as I said, if there's anyone you want to see be interviewed, let me know. You can let me know in the comments, or you can let me know via email at drew.carson@terrafirma.net. That's drew.carson@terrafirma.net. With all your suggestions, hints, death threats, whatever you want to send me. Always appreciated, and I will see you guys. Bye.